Have the GOAT format World Championship coming up this weekend, so we're gonna do a rundown of the bracket here and do our some bracket predictions. We're gonna try to figure it out between the two of us who we think is gonna make a top eight of Worlds here.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit like the podcast earlier today, except we're not going to go too in depth on every single player. Just give you a quick rundown of the matchups, basically, maybe what decks we think they might bring, and just who we are predicting is going to win. This is not going to play any favorites here, just based off of matchups maybe and how the brackets lie. And yeah, just have a little fun here right before Worlds.
Cool, so let's get started. So there's 56 players. We have the players that have buys for the first round that have the highest seed. So Lucas, Delinquent, Ghost Rider, SDL Killa, Moxies, Matt Uber, Alethea 2, and Reclaire, all with buys in the first round. So that's pretty huge. Because if you lose in the first round, you have a long day. You have to win 7 matches to get to top 8. And then the top 4 players from winner side, the top 4 players from loser side go on to day 2 in a new 8-player bracket where the losses from day 1 don't carry over.
Right, so that first round bye for those 8 players is super crucial because it means that they're going to be playing less if they continue to win throughout the day, so they don't have any fatigue going into those games, getting down in the losers bracket so early.
Alright, so who do you think is going to win this first match of Ragnak versus the Nano?
I think this one's kind of actually a tricky one because the Nano qualified with, I believe they qualified with Chaos Turbo, but they are known for wanting to play weird, funky decks, right? There was our whole the Nano challenge that we hosted on GoFormat.com, right? Trying to challenge the format to playing alt win decks and at the top of the ladder. So you never know with this guy. He could bring something funky, or he could stick with Chaos Turbo. Probably the premier deck.
I feel like the Nano only plays the weird decks when they're not trying, and then at a big tournament they always bring out the real stuff,
Yeah, that could be the case here, and I don't think it's a slouch either. I believe he won one of the bigger Edison tournaments recently as well.
Over
on Format Library.
Got their invite by winning FLC with the Rock deck.
True, yeah. I think that this is going to be a close matchup, to be honest. I want to give it to the Nano, but I wouldn't put it past Ragnak. I think this one's actually kind of a toss-up.
So are you okay with us picking Nano though?
I'm picking the Nano as well, but I'm not. I'm feeling like it's 60-40 for the Nano.
All right. So next we have Gib Nation versus Jago or Yago.
Jago. What did Jago qualify with again? I think it was Burn, right? Or it might have been Warrior. I could be wrong.
I have no clue. It's one that I will have to look at the profiles.
Was he 49?
He is number 49, yeah.
It was Warrior. Jago, Italian player, going up against Gib Nation, representing United States. I actually think Jago's gonna take this one.
See, I would go
I like his chances.
Both players I haven't really seen playing too much recently either, though. So it's kind of a toss-up there. If you want to go Yago, I'm okay with... Alright, we'll go with yours. Alvarado versus Dale. Overdose, round 1 matchup.
Yeah, this is a tough break. Both Overdose team members, but unfortunately one of them has to win here. You hate to see playing your teammate, especially in round 1. I don't know, because Alvarado seems like he's been grinding a lot more than any of the other teammates right now. But I mean, you can't put it past any of these guys. They're all just so good.
Dale got second place at Worlds last year.
Yeah, it's this is another one for me that's kind of a toss up. But I kind of just want to give the slight edge just in this round 1 to Anthony, only on the fact that he's just been playing more and probably is. I think he wants it more than the other Overdose members this year.
And if anyone in chat wants to chime in on any of these when we're doing them, you could be a potential tiebreaker. Feel free to. Geist versus Hoovie89.
I haven't seen a lot of Hoovie89 or Juve89, however you say that name. But I don't know. I feel like it's so weird because like all these players, even if like we're saying that we haven't seen a lot of them recently, they've made it to Worlds, so
Right.
they're clearly doing something right
in a format that they've played countless hours of.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I want to just go with Geist here because I know Geist's play a lot more.
I don't
feel
know
like
enough. I don't know enough about Juvie to pick the
and this is
the lower seed there. So, or
nothing
the higher
against him. Obviously, it's just the lower seed. I'm gonna go with the higher in this case.
Mark MPS versus Chief Wiggum.
I think Jesse's actually in the chat right now. Shout out to Jesse. I don't know. This is a good one as well. Mark's been grinding. I know Jesse's a great player and he wants it as well. I think it's just going to come down to. I think this is another like. This might just be a 50-50, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know enough about Chief.
I know they play Warriors, so it depends on the deck that Mark brings. If Mark's going to bring Chaos Control, I think that the edge would favor Mark in this matchup. But you never know. Chaos Control is kind of a weird one. There's some hands that you get where you're just unplayable, and like any monster from Warriors is going to be like hard to deal with in those hands sometimes. So could just be an unlucky situation depending on the deck that Mark decides to bring. I might want to give it to Jesse. It seems like if he's going to pick a more solid deck to play, then probably would favor him.
All right. So then we have Ivan Rosito versus Karibo. Karibo, who both players that like two of the last players to get their invite actually.
Yeah.
And Karibo we just saw in the last chance qualifier with the Bazoo Dimension Fusion deck. And Ivan Rosito we saw with the Chaos Turbo deck.
I unfortunately didn't get the chance to watch much of the last tournament, the last chance qualifier, but I did catch the finals, and that was a pretty incredible finals. I kind of want to give it to Karibo based off that performance.
So I think Karibo has a good deck, but I did see the whole tournament, and they played very nervously and made a lot of mistakes during the tournament. So I'm actually gonna go based on experience-wise to Ivan Rosito here.
Honestly, I probably would give it to Ivan when all said and done, but as like a personal thing, if like they're bringing the Bazoo deck, I'm like, personally, I would love to see the Bazoo deck win.
So then we have
Bazoo is definitely one of my favorite cards to play with in the format.
Duck Duck versus Skinny.
I haven't seen much of Skinny, so I kind of just want to give it to Duck Duck here.
Yeah, that's all I got to go with.
Yep.
Artsone versus Comic Odyssey 1. Artsone's been was a top ranked ladder player for, I want to say for years, was always on towards the top end of the ladder. Then you have
for sure
the only player using a legacy invite this year, Comic Odyssey 1. So you have pretty much old school versus new school as far as I know. I don't know Artsone's history beyond Dueling Book too much. I would give it to Artsone after the back to. I think they've only entered 2 tournaments and got first and top 4 in both of them.
It was first and second. They came in first and then they grand finaled another GFC. I just kind of want to give it to Artsone here just based off recency bias, but I mean, this is one of the players with a legacy invite. They topped actually during GOAT format, so I mean, if the skills transfer over, they can remember how well they played back in 2005. Then
yeah, they entered they entered the LCQ and didn't do very well either. So
it could just be warming up. You never know.
They've got time to get the rust off, but I'm gonna give it to Artsone here. So we have P-Trans XP versus Taz.
Both really good players.
That's gonna be a crazy matchup.
I think it was P-Train who knocked me out of Worlds last year. So maybe I just give it to him.
P-Tranx went on a crazy run last year. They didn't play as much this year, but they got their invite pretty quickly when they did try. And yeah, a Tazaz was
I
a
think
like top pick from a lot of players to win this tournament too.
Taz
But
has really wants this, I think,
this
as
is a
well,
this is a tough one. I think this is the
from my
hardest one so
understanding.
far. I think this
Mhm.
is gonna be a really even matchup. This might even be like a good match to stream round one.
Yeah, I'm definitely be down for that.
Um, I want to give it to P-Trax. What about you?
It's kind of a coin flip. I wouldn't put it past Taz to win here, but just based off bias of me getting stomped by P-Tran all the time, I kind of want to give it to him.
Yeah, when it's even, I'm like, oh, what's a tiebreaker while doing this? Because I mean, it's just a
Look
guess,
look at the
really.
seed, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at the seed. Then we have Sparky Flary versus Carl Waite.
I love both these duelists.
Yeah,
I
this is a
mean,
tough one to pick.
yeah, I mean they're both great people. I really like both of them. But there's something about no, and this is no slight against Carl. There's just something about Sparky where it's just really hard not to root for him. Like I really want him to do well most of the,
Yeah,
especially in the Worlds tournaments.
I want both these players to do really well,
I
man.
want both of them to do well.
But
No guarantee, but
I'm also feeling Sparky Flary.
yeah, I think it's like if Sparky wins his first round, I feel like he's gonna top the event.
I think Sparky's really good at making a meta game call. Like even though they
Yeah,
like mostly only play warriors, they have played like different versions of their warrior decks
yeah,
before, and
he
like
picks out
tests it out
the
for the
best
tournament.
decks
So
for the tournament,
and for
and
this tournament, you know who you're playing the first few rounds potentially. So
I mean, we know this, and that could come to bite. I feel like that may come to bite certain people because there could be people who might like switch something up where you're like, oh, this player might be playing Chaos Control or something, and they're actually playing Chaos Turbo, or they switch to like Warriors, and you prepped maybe for a matchup that they're not actually going to be playing. I wouldn't hold so much stock into trying to predict what other people might be doing though. You kind of do still want to like, all right, this one's more likely to play based off of what they've entered before to play like X, Y, or Z deck. I think both of these players are like, I think Carl's probably going to play some sort of Chaos Control variant, and Sparky will probably be playing Warriors here. I kind of want to give the Sparky still, just because he's just the guy to root for, to me at least. Sparky's just for me is one of those cases where it's like if he loses this first round, it's gonna be really hard for him to top. But if he wins his first round, he's probably gonna top. Like
yeah.
he's
So
probably gonna go on.
then we have Young MF versus Wing Zero.
So I'm not familiar with a lot of these. I think Young MF is like a dueling book grinder. Is that right?
I think they've also done good in the real life
In the Go Format Italian,
Italian
yeah, the
tournaments.
Italian ones.
Yeah,
Yeah, might want to just give it to him. Just
yeah.
higher seed.
I don't know enough about either to make a real educated decision there. Same with this next one, Fusion and Big Llama.
I have my sources that Big Llama is a grinder on Dueling Book and is a really great burn player. So I think I want to give it to the Big Llama here.
Then we have Bakura 1994 versus Jace from Australia. Um, I think
Jace
Bakura's
played
from Germany, I believe.
right. Jace played and qualified with the innovative Go Control list that played Chaos Command
Yeah,
Division.
and then they just got
So-
to the grand final, or they just got to the grand finals as well in the Patreon playoff finals.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I want to give it to Jace here just because
Maybe
I'm a
it
big
wasn't
fan
the
of
grand finals, but they got very far in that tournament.
I want to give it to Jace because I'm a big fan of Goat Control the deck,
And
and if they're going to stick to playing Goat Control, then I'm always going to root for you.
yeah, and we haven't seen Bakura since they got that GFC win, so
I think they played at Clash of the Champions, but didn't do spectacular. I don't know if they topped the event or not. I'll have to go look that one up, but yeah, haven't seen him play since he got the invite. Did win the biggest GFC of all time, though, so. Not a slouch. None of these players are slouches. It's really hard to pick.
for sure, this is a lot of great matchups here. So we have Dingo Sig versus Crash Volt. Dingo Sig been on a great run this year. Crash Volt got in through one of the luxury tournaments, I believe.
Yeah, I think they're more active within luxury and playing in those Facebook tournaments. But I mean, those players in those tournaments are not like they're not bad players. They're all very good players. Some of them are in the World Championships. Who play regularly on those Facebook tournaments, and Crashbolt qualifying through there just means that he had to beat a lot of the best players in the circuit here. I kind of want to give it to Crashbolt, but this is another 50-50 one for me where I wouldn't be surprised just based off of Dingo Sig, like just being really good. Like
I think Dingo Sig is one of those players that is practicing really hard right now for Worlds.
Yeah,
and is going to be very prepared.
And then you can give it to him.
Go with Dingo. And we have Chris Perovic versus Tupaye.
I'm not familiar with Tupaye here.
Yeah, me neither.
I kind of just want to give it to Chris on this one. Just based off of my unfamiliarity. But I mean, like I said, anything can happen. We could see an upset here in some of the seeding.
So
our picks are not knocks against any of these players.
No,
just
for sure.
Reiterate.
Someone has to lose.
Yeah.
Chopper versus AJT BLS. AJT was on a tear earlier this year, but I feel like we haven't seen them at all since then.
I know Chopper's been practicing a lot, so I'm going to give it to Chopper, but I mean, you never know. AJT could be behind the scenes.
I want to go with AJT because I think they're just going to go on a crazy, super lucky run.
Hey, I'll default it over to you here. You can put AJT up there, but I'm
going to go with Chopper here, but when we get to the loser side.
You're going to have AJT just run the loser bracket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. James Arc versus Pui.
I cannot bet against Pui. It's my teammate on Damage Step. Only Damage Step player who actually made it into Worlds here. So I will not bet against them.
I would go with James Arc.
I knew you were going to go with James Arc. I cannot.
I think they're going to be prepared for anything that Pui comes up with.
You'll put James Arc up there. I'll give you this one if you're going to give me Chopper.
John Wick versus Michael Simio.
Michelle Simiano. We're very bad with the Italian names.
Yeah,
it's just our
We'll have an Italian stream. They can correct us.
They can help us out for those matches.
Yeah, I'm going John Wick.
Yeah, I think I want to go John Wick. I mean, Michelle, I think they won the FLC, but we've seen John Wick play, and we know he consistently in these tournaments. So,
Wayfarer versus Giorgione.
Giorgione, part of the Europeans. Once I see them practicing as well.
Wayfarer got in through an obelisk that they weren't even. They surprised themselves that they won.
No, I haven't seen a lot from them. But
I've never seen them play a match before, so I'm gonna go Geo because of that, just based on experience. Even though
based off of our interpretations of that, yeah.
And their Wayfarer's got a better seed, but I'm going Geo, just based on the little knowledge I have of the two. Faye versus Too Fresh.
So it's most likely that Faye V here is going to bring Library, at least from
making this their hardest round.
All of the scouting is going to be saying that, so it's going to be it's going to be tough because if Too Fresh does come prepared for Library and just plays to get out of the first round, then there's not going to be much that Faye's going to be able to do. I mean, or they could I don't know. It's up to how Too Fresh handles the matchup, right?
My pick is Faye.
I'm not confident
that Too Fresh is going to be prepared enough.
I don't know. I mean, if we see the answer deck where they're just main decking spell answers, we could see that and just totally wipe the floor with anything that Library's up against. But I might have to just give it to Faye on this one.
KL93 versus Jerry.
I've not seen much of Jerry, I don't think.
KL's a burn player.
I think I've seen a lot of KL, and I think KL does really well with burn as well. I kind of want to give it to them on this one.
Alright. Yada Yada versus Krebs, another teammate versus teammate match.
Yeah, this is gonna be hard. Yeah, this is kind of another coin flip to me. I like Krebs a lot, but I like Yada Yada a lot as well.
Yeah, it's a coin flip to me as well. I guess I would go with Yada just because I want to see Yada versus Reclaire round 2, since Reclaire won Worlds with Yada's exact deck list last year.
Let's do it.
LeBounty versus Wawa. I can't go against LeBounty here.
I know you can't go against them, but if Wawa brings a Go Control deck like what they qualified with, then I can't root against them. But I don't know. I think it depends on what they bring. I think
there's
they might lean and switch off of Go Control for Worlds and play like Chaos Turbo or Chaos Control.
It's possible. LeBounty is a seasoned veteran, though.
LeBounty is a veteran, and I think they're determined to get it this year.
Shogun Lopez versus Mazo. I believe Mazo is a burn player, and Shogun a chaos. I'm not positive on that.
This is 43. Yeah, Mazo's a Panda burn player, another Italian. Second place at Go Community Italia Championship number 4. That's how they qualified. Shogun, I believe, played Warrior, right? 22. Double check that. 22. Yeah, Warrior as well. First place Go Format Championship 14. I think I want to give it to Mazo here, just because I think that people are like, if we're just assuming that they're playing the decks that they qualified with, I think that a lot of people might not be prepared for burn.
Yeah. All right, we'll move down to
losers.
Round 1 of losers, which
hard.
is Gib Nation versus Dale.
All of our picks are going to be wrong, so.
I'm not giving Dale the O2, so.
I don't think I want to give Dale the O2 either. Sorry, Gib.
Mark MPS versus Karibo.
Well, if we gave Mark the loss round 1, we're definitely. I don't think we can give loss round 2 either. Same with Taz.
Yep. Agreed. Wing Zero versus Fusion, another one that I think is a coin flip.
Fusion ran Gravekeeper Warrior last time.
Yeah, so I'll go with Wing Zero because of that alone.
Roasted.
Well, it's just not a deck that I think is consistent, and if that's all I know about you, then...
If you're going up against Chaos, I mean, Necro Valley does put in a lot of work.
It's good, it's just not consistently good.
I feel you.
Crash Vault versus Tupale.
I think I want to go Crash Vault here.
As you guys can see, we're kind of just...
Not putting
we just don't have
enough into it.
Like, yeah, there's definitely some fluff here of what we know and don't know. Pui versus Michelle.
I want to put in Pui. I cannot go against my teammate.
I'll give it to you, but I would have picked Michelle.
Oh no.
Too Fresh versus Jerry. Again,
since we did Too Fresh kind of dirty on the library, so I would give him the win here.
And Wawa versus Lopez. I'll go Wawa.
I'll go Wawa, yeah.
All right, so round 2 on winner's side, Lucas versus the Nano. I think Lucas.
It's really hard to bet against the
yeah.
Like
Jago versus Alvarado. I give it Alvarado.
Give it Alvarado, yeah.
Delinquent versus Geist. This is a big one.
That's a big one. I think Delinquent comes out on top here.
This one I genuinely have no clue. I think this is going to be a crazy match. This is probably another one that would be good to watch. It's yeah, I'm good with giving it. I'm fine whichever one you want to pick. So if you want to,
I don't know if the brothers work closely together on all the decks.
Don't. I think they just throw ideas at each other sometimes.
Yeah, because like their decks that they come up with are very like different than what a lot of people are doing, but like they are attacking the meta, and then they come up with like different ways to attack what other people do. Like Delinquent with his zombie decks, and then like Alefio with his crazy cold wave decks.
Delinquent's got to be planning to play Geist this round, right? Like they were in the they had the bye, so
I think so. Like I mean, he's either prepping for Geist or he could be doing his due diligence and checking in with like Uwe and researching them. But
Yeah.
I want to give it to Delinquent because I think he's going to shock everybody and bring something really attuned for this bracket.
Or might go back to their class. They were one of the original like Chaos Turbo players too. So
It could be that. Could just go back to the fundamentals and just play it better than everybody else.
Chief Wiggum versus Ivan Rosidio.
Before we go off here and like do the rest of the bracket, I just want to go off on a quick diatribe. I cannot tell you how happy I am. I'm actually not playing in this tournament, and I just get to see everybody's deck list before the tournament starts because I want to know what all these people are bringing. I am so excited for this. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
Yeah, there's definitely a vibe through all the players. I think everybody's really excited this year.
Yeah, we're gonna give out a friggin' championship belt to one of these guys. Awesome stuff.
So Chief versus Ivan. I'm gonna go Ivan.
I would go with Chief Wiggum here.
Anthony Alvarado in chat says Ivan's the sleeper, so he's gonna tie break it.
Shout out to Anthony.
Ghost Rider versus Duck. Duck's been doing better and better all year, but Ghost Rider has just been on a tear. I would say Ghost Rider.
I think Ghost Rider, yeah. Ghost Rider's been showing up to events like over in California where they're running real life Go tournaments events out there.
Ghost Rider lost round 1 of I think it was the FLC last time, and then like won like 7 or 8 matches in a row after that, and they've done that multiple times this year, gone on crazy loser runs. Not to mention their like Chaos Turbo deck is what like everybody's on now. They've like merged over to Ghost Rider's deck.
Yeah.
Alright, P-Tranks and Artsone.
I want to give it to P-Tran, but it's hard because like P-Tran we haven't seen this year. Artsone go back to back, another grinder. This is kind of another coin flip one, but just based off of experience from P-Tran showing of last year,
Chat
I want to give it to him.
So
yeah.
SDL Killa versus Sparky Flary.
This is so hard. This is like the two warrior gods, right?
I go with SDL.
I really want to root for Sparky here, but it's so hard because SDL is so good. They're both so good. This would be a great feature match as well.
Chat's split.
I think the chat wants...
I say SDL.
I think the chat wants SDL, yeah.
Alright. Young MF and Big Llama.
I first think that Big Llama's being slept on just as one of the better burn players in the tournament.
Yeah, I'm fine with picking
him the edge.
I have no strong feelings on this one, so. Moxie's versus Jace. I got Moxie's going deep.
I think Moxie's wants it. I know he says he shouldn't be in the running for Player of the Year, but it's his results, you know.
I think Moxie's, whether they're Player of the Year, they're most prepared Player of the Year.
They've done their homework they've done their homework, and then they've done their homework again for everybody else.
Yep.
Like they didn't like copy or make photocopies or whatever. They just did the problems again, you know.
And I got Chris over Dingo.
Yeah.
I think the upset could happen, but Dingo's played fairly well this year. Like,
I mean,
I want to say we did see stuff where we watched Dingo and we like questioned moves, but
I feel like a lot of our picks are just wrong already. But we'll see. This is all for fun anyway. So
yeah, some are gonna be wrong. But Dingo also with like the surprise chaos return deck has done really well with.
I mean, if you
that it factor, but yeah, you gotta go
chaos return on your own turn, right? Like you should be winning that game most of the time. I'll give it to Chris for you, but I like Dingo's chances.
Matt Uber versus Chopper.
I think maybe the buy is going to help Matt Uber here. I think Chopper's been going in the tank and practicing it.
Matt Uber's deck is almost unpredictable to play. Like, no one can play Matt Uber's deck the way Matt Uber plays their deck.
Yeah,
I don't care how you practice against deck, how many times you practice against the build.
He's going to know it better than you are. So I kind of want to give Uber the edge in this one. Also because of the buy, just coming in fresh while Chopper might have already had to play around versus like AJT.
Yeah, I see Chopper
Who's,
here.
who's gonna make
Matt
it
Uber,
big?
rather.
He does weird stuff too.
So James Arc versus John Wick. I still got John Wick. What do you think?
I think in this one, I think James Arc can take this.
Chat, what do you guys think? James Arc or John Wick?
Lux says James Arc and Lucas are top 2. I think James Arc's coming prepared for this tournament.
I really think John Wick's gonna go on a tear here, but no one gonna help us out in chat. Alright, I guess we'll go James Arc. My personal bracket, I have John Wick in top 8, but that is also picking a teammate, so.
I mean, I'm going against a lot of my my cousin, my brother, who drafted last night.
Alethea versus Geo. I'm gonna go Alethea still.
I mean, yeah, I want to just pick him. Getting higher seed.
Faye versus KL, so Library versus Burn. I don't know how much Burn could do against Library.
I think a lot. If you flip a Geometry, they can't resolve a reversal quiz.
Yeah, but we
Guess
already.
it really depends on the flip.
I guess
coin flip.
that could be game 1. That could be good. They could get the Ojama trio off. We did see Faye side deck the Mass Drivers and the no, they didn't side Cannon Soldier, I think, but we did see they sided Mass Drivers at the tournament that they won.
Sometimes, I mean, it depends on how well Library draws.
Because the thing with Ojama trio is you can leave them on the board so you get through your entire deck, and then just deal with it.
Yeah, you can do that. You can also play like if you're KL, you can use your burn stuff. Yeah, they're going to use Trunade, but using your burn stuff early kind of messes with their a little bit because if they don't draw their combo within a certain amount of draws in the Archfiend's Oath, they could just not be able to win, right? Because they won't have enough life to pay with Archfiend's Oath if you hit with a big enough burn swing. But that just means you have to like draw a lot of burn and set your entire hand.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of a dice roll in the decks that we're predicting they bring.
I think Library makes it one more round through here.
I think you're right though.
So Reclaire versus Yada Yada.
Would be a great match to watch.
Yeah, Reclaire, last year's world
seen...
champion. Yada Yada built the deck that Reclaire won the world championship with.
We haven't seen Reclaire play a lot this season.
But they did get an extra seeding point when they did play.
Yeah, they won an Obelisk, I believe. Right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean,
I think you got to give it to the world champ. When you're just
I think we're gonna just be pick the favorite in Reclaire here.
I don't. It's not that I think Yada can't win, but you gotta if you have to just, like take a guess here. I think you go with the world champ.
Yeah.
Labounty versus Mazo. I think Labounty could be Burn.
I think so too.
So now we're down on losers round 2. So we're right back down to Mazo versus Ragnak.
I think if Ragnarok's playing like a weird kind of deck, I don't know how they do against Burn. Yeah.
I don't know either. Like if it could just deal damage fast enough.
And Gigantes is pretty big. 1900's nothing to laugh at.
I think I go with Rog. I don't know. I'm not that high on Burn. I think a lot of people are gonna have Decrees. I think Rog will probably have Decrees playing such an aggressive deck.
Let's pick Rog.
Dale versus Yada Yada.
This is a tough one. You kind of like, part of me is like, yeah, let's just give it to Dale because it's Dale, but Yada Yada's really good.
In my bracket that I did myself, I had Yada over Reclaire, and then I had Reclaire over Dale here.
I think kind of want to give it to Yada, but I don't want to count Dale out, you know?
Yeah, that seems kind of ignorant, right?
Yeah.
I guess we'll go Dale here. KL versus Hoovy. KL.
Yeah, let's give it to KL.
Mark versus Geo.
I think, honestly, even though I know both these guys are practicing a lot, I think this is going to be a pick here.
John Wick. We don't know enough about Skinny to even think about it.
Unfortunately.
Chopper versus Taz. I think Taz.
again, I'm a big Chopper fan. What does the chat think on this one?
Let's see, they say Taz got this.
Let's look. I guess the chat will decide this one. I'm a big Chopper guy, so.
Dingo versus Carl.
This is a tough one too. Jeez.
Yeah, it is. I go Carl though.
We're giving pity points to Carl because we didn't put him in the round one.
We did that a few times already.
Yeah.
So keep
Poor
tradition.
Dingo.
Jace versus Wing Zero. I go Jace.
I love the Go Control. We'll pick Jace in a heartbeat.
What do you got here? Bakura versus Young MF.
I think I would give it to Young MF. Just haven't seen, like, Bakura we know is good, we haven't seen much of him.
Yeah, we saw like one tournament.
I've seen Young MF play a lot, you know? Uh-oh.
I don't know how that worked, but we'll fix it when we get to it, I guess.
Yeah, weird.
Sparky, I think we both agree on.
Mm-hmm.
Artsone versus AJT. I said I was going to go deep with AJT, but I want to pick Artsone here.
I think I want to pick Artsone based off of this.
Duck versus Pui.
I can't bet against Pui. I'm legally not allowed to.
What do you think, chat? Duck versus Pui. Chat says Duck. I say Duck.
I'm being bullied by the chat here.
I think just Pui doesn't have a lot of big tournament experience. And Duck has been playing for a very long time, even though like we're only recently seeing them play in tournaments, and has been choppy themselves in tournaments too. So I don't feel that strong about it either way.
I don't know. Don't Chopwee was able to top both 3v3s. Their team
Alvarado
didn't
says Duck. Jonathan Davis says Pui.
I really like Pui. I mean,
Lucas says Pui. Juan says Duck. Oh man, we're tied up. Alright, we'll give it to Pui, I guess.
Yeah. Go Pui, go Pui, go Pui.
Chief Wiggum versus Wayfarer.
I want to give it to
not enough
Wiggum.
info on Wayfarer. Geist versus Too Fresh. I think
We're giving it to Geist here, yeah.
That might be an upset match here too.
That would be an upset though.
Too Fresh actually has an extra seed point. They have done good. It's totally possible.
It's Geist D.
Jago versus Krebs. I think we go Krebs.
I think we go Krebs here.
Nano versus Wawa. I'm going Nano.
Sure. I'll give you that one.
Alright, round 3. Lucas versus Alvarado.
This is a great match.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me like really wants to give it to Alvarado, but this is Lucas we're talking about here.
I'm fine to give it to Lucas here. I will give it to Lucas probably all the way up till closer to the finals because he never has clutched it.
Sure, let's give it to him.
Then we have Delinquent versus Ivan. I'm still going Delinquent.
Yeah. I think Delinquent's going to get far in this bracket.
Ghost Rider versus P-Tranx. I'm going Ghost Rider. This is going to be a crazy match if this one happens.
That would be a crazy match, yeah. But I'll give it to Ghost Rider here, but it's not out of the realm of possibility, of course, that P-Tran would be able to defeat Ghost Rider.
SDL versus Big Llama.
I think we got to give it to SDL. I know Burn is like so... I think it's really kind of the story about how many Bird players actually got into this tournament, and it might be on everybody's mind if these players are playing Burn. I mean, again,
I think there's just a lot of cards people are playing that are good against Burn, not even for Burn.
Right. I mean, but they don't. These players don't have to play the decks that they qualify with.
Right.
They're not locked into doing that. They can make a meta call. They can change their decks
just
up.
a guess that we're making.
Yeah.
Moxie's versus Chris Perovic.
That would be a great match to watch, but
I'm on Moxie's still.
I'm on Team Moxie's here.
I think he's gonna have a hell of a run, or if he does or doesn't, like statistically, he should have a hell of a run. Just the amount of work Moxie's has done and the run that he's been on too.
I think we're picking a lot of favorites going in here, but hey,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
that's
that's how
fun.
most people do it, right? Matt Uber versus James Ark.
I'm gonna give it to James Ark. I think they're coming prepared for this.
Prepared for Matt Uber. Okay.
I think he's got this in the bag.
Alifia versus Faye. I think Alifia has looked at this bracket and is prepared for Library.
I think they know. Yeah, I think they know the.
Yeah.
I think they've unlocked something about this format. Both of those guys, the brothers. I think they've unlocked something about this format
that no one else has. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Reclaire versus LeBounty. Not to move past this one too fast. I really think that Alifia is going to be prepared.
I think so too. In our fantasy world,
someone's got to be prepared, or Library could go all the way. So, anybody listening, still looking at your side decks, fit in those few cards for the Library deck. So, Reclaire versus John LeBounty.
Another great matchup here.
Another one I'd love to see.
I know you want LeBounty, but I think I would pick Reclaire in this one.
Chat, what do you got? We're split. This is still winner's side, right?
Yeah, this is still winner's side. Almost at top 4 winners.
Table 1 Gaming says LeBounty. Luxor says Reclaire.
I mean, the EU brain is nothing to scoff at.
Alvarado said LeBounty.
Reclaire won the World Championships at like 5 in the morning.
That's
like,
true.
Italian time.
But I don't feel like they have the drive for it like they did last year. Last year, Reclaire got to the top ladder on Format Library, Dueling Book, GoatFormat.com, and it was just non-stop playing. Like the same way Moxie's was the hardest worker last year for Worlds. Last year it was Reclaire, and I don't feel that same passion is there.
So you're thinking Moxie's might take it all because they're the hardest worker, but I think you're gonna eat your hat, and Reclaire may go back to back here.
That'd be nuts.
That would be nuts.
Dale, I don't think is losing to a rock deck.
What a statement.
KL versus Mark. I think Mark will be ready for burn.
I think Mark's got this. Mark's very solid.
John Wick versus Taz.
I picked Taz here.
I picked John Wick. Chat, what do you got? Luxar says John beats Taz. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Taz is John Wick is the winner.
Chat, you failed me.
Carl versus Jace.
I mean, I'm rooting for Go Control. If Jace is gonna bring Go Control,
over the fan favorite Carl.
The fan favorite Carl, unfortunately. My love for the flipping up Goat and activating Metamorph, it's more than I can equate to a single person.
How does it make you feel that Jace didn't run Goat in the Patreon playoff tournament though?
Oh, they didn't run Goat? Oh, they're dead to me.
Carl, wait, we go. Sparky Flary versus Young MF. I don't know why this auto-filled, because we're big Sparky Flary fans over here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Artsone
versus Sparky Flary, geez, world rebadge.
Artsone versus Pui.
Okay. I have to pick Pui. I'm contractually obligated to pick Pui.
You're gonna go that far with Pui, huh?
I would go that far if we. Wow, a Pui versus Faye matchup though, nuts.
We gotta go Artsone. Artsone literally has a extra seeding point.
I know you're gonna pick him and put it overrule me, but again, I'm contractually obligated to pick my teammate.
Chart put Artsone versus Pui, so.
You have like 7 of your teammates to pick from here. You can afford to be like, like this one won't make it, this one will. I only got 1, so I have to rep mine.
Geist versus Chief. Geist.
I think so. It's Geist.
Oh man, here's another good one. Krebs versus the Nano.
I think Krebs. I'd pick Krebs here.
I want Krebs to win, but I want to go Nano so we could see a Chris Borovic Nano Classic.
That would be a great one to watch, wouldn't it, huh?
Chat, any input on the Nano versus Krebs?
I
I
really
mean,
think you're sleeping on
I just want to
Chief.
see. I just want to see that match of Perovic versus Nano, but I do think Krebs can beat the Nano, and I think Krebs has beat the Nano before, as far as I know. Let's see. We got Krebs, Krebs, and Krebs.
Team
Alright.
Krebs.
Moving back up, Delinquent versus Lucas.
So this will determine the top 4 of winners bracket, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. So who do we think is going to make it into top 4 of winner's side? Between Delinquent here,
This is tough.
it really depends if Delinquent found the sauce, right? Because Lucas is gonna most likely bring Warriors, and he's gonna probably play it the best out of anyone in this tournament.
Well, if we go by what Lucas played the most and what Delinquent played the most, then Delinquent should win because they played
Yeah.
zombies the most.
Which is like the anti-Warrior deck.
Chat is all Lucas though.
I mean, he's number 1 for a reason, right?
Yeah. I personally think Delinquent. What do you think? If we agree,
I
yeah, rule
personally think
chat.
Delinquent as well, and
Okay.
I just believe that he's got the secret sauce.
So here's the teammate face-off: Ghost Rider versus SDL. I got Ghost Rider.
I think I want Ghost Rider too. I like both of them. I think they're both good, but I think I want Ghost Rider in this one.
All right, Moxie's versus James Arc. I just see
This
Moxie's
is
getting
such
on
a
winner's
tough
side,
one.
but
Yeah, I think Moxie's gets in on winner's side, and James gets in on losers. To be honest,
Alethea versus LeBounty.
if his brother's got the sauce, I think he's gonna share it with his other his brother. You know,
This one's tough.
that's such a tough one too. What does chat think? Based off of this,
See, we got one Alethea. Chat, what do you think? Alethea or LeBounty?
Luck says Alethea easy.
I'll say LeBounty. Kid Kai says LeBounty.
I mean, I'm just calling you out here. You only want the bounty to win, so like he just can walk over and pick the belt up from your house, right?
It's true. Alvarado says LeBounty. Bounty says LeBounty. So I think we're only up by one LeBounty. So this one, everyone thinks it's
Everyone's
close.
picking the bounty. All right, chat decides.
All right, down to losers now. Big Llama versus Dale. Wow, Dale got a lot farther in this bracket than he did in my other one. I think everyone agrees Dale.
I think we're gonna pick Dale here. I think the Mark versus P-Tran would be an excellent.
Yeah, this one's a little tougher.
Just based off of grinding more than we've been seeing P-Tran maybe grinding. So
P-Tran just goes on nutty runs though.
that is true. When they do show up to play, they show up to play. I think I still would pick Mark.
You pick Mark, I'm picking P-Tran, so we're gonna send it to chat. Mark,
I think the
P-Tran
reason why
XP.
in my fantasy land here, I want to see a Chaos Control Classic between Dale and me.
Let's see, chat says one person for P-Tran beats Mark. And Alvarado picked Mark. Bounty picks P-Tran. Lucas picks P-Tran. So P-Tran moves on. Ivan Residio versus John Wick. Ivan versus Ivan.
The Ivan mirror match.
I think you gotta go with the Ivan Classic.
They're literally 23 and 24.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yep, I'll just go with the higher seeded Ivan in this case.
Alvarado versus Carl.
Ooh.
Alvarado's on way more of a winning streak right now than Carl is.
This one's tough as well.
What do you think?
I think I want to give it to Alvarado, but I never want to count him out.
I know. Even with the other loss that we gave to Carl, I think he could win it. But I guess we said Alvarado here.
Yeah, I mean, Carl could just go through and win and get in on winner's side, you know?
Reclaire versus Sparky
These guys
Fairy.
are so good. So hard to pick.
Reclaire versus Sparky Fairy.
A Worlds rematch that I would want to watch. I mean, Rickler won it last time, so kind of just want to pick him.
Yeah, I think I agree. Reclaire. I don't know. Or does Sparky get revenge? I'm gonna say Sparky, so we'll leave it to chat. We've got Sparky gets revenge in chat. We got a Reclaire in chat. And a Sparky and a Reclaire, so it's still tied. And Table 1 Gaming saying Reclaire, so... Alright.
The deciding vote to Table 1 Gaming.
Faye versus Artsone. So in this imaginary tournament
in this
in my head,
Fantasyland Magical Christmas Land tournament,
Faye has now finally bricked. And Artsone wins.
Oh, that's so mean. The gods did not want... The Egyptian gods, Slifer, Obelisk, and Ra, did not want the library to win this tournament here. I don't know. It's still in this Magical Christmas Land would depend on, does Artsone have the answer to library, right? I would want to give it to him just based off of doing better in tournaments.
But they are typically a ladder player, so how much do they know how to play against?
Yeah, library is not that common on ladder. It's not that common in general. A lot of people don't actually know how to play against it. We could give it to Artsone. I'm fine with that pick, but I think if Faye practices a lot and tightens up play more.
Oh, they could rip through the whole tournament.
They could rip through the whole tournament, exactly.
Matt Uber versus Geist.
Ooh, that's a good one. I kind of want to give it to Geist because we've been saying it's Geist, but
I think Matt Uber could make top 4 still.
I think so too. I would give it to Matt here.
Matt Uber's been on a tear. Chris Perovic versus Krebs.
That's a tough one. I kind of like the narrative that we're pushing in our fantasy land that Krebs just sets up all these really good players.
I mean, he just took out the Nano.
Yeah. Let's go with it. We're putting Krebs here.
All right. So
yeah, already our top 4 again, just to review,
is
Moxley's Bounty and Delinquent and Ghost Rider. So still determining, that's the top 4 on our fantasy winner side.
Dale versus Petran.
Dale versus Petran. Canadian mirror match.
I think at this point, Dale, in our fantasy tournament, Dale has kicked it up to another notch. And
he's got that.
Dale's in winning mode now.
It's like when Sting gets hit with a finisher and no sells it. That's where Dale's at right now.
And it's gonna be a close game 3.
Cool. Dale's gonna top deck BLS for game here.
No. He'll have had the BLS and top deck the other card he needed with it.
Oh. Now we're just fantasy booking the matches now.
John Wick versus Alvarado.
Another good match. Really hard to pick here.
I'm picking John Wick.
Okay, I'll give you it. I won't fight you.
Reclaire versus Artsone. I think we all want to see Reclaire make it back here.
Versus Lucas, yeah.
And Matt Uber, I think, is going to take out Krebs in a crazy Game 3 as well.
The craziest Game 3 we've ever seen.
Who do you got?
I'll give you Uber.
Uber really has been on a tear though. Like,
yeah,
they do good in
every tournament they enter. For a reason, right? They've
on a deck that only they're using.
Mm-hmm.
James Arc versus Dale.
I think this is where our Dale Cinderella story unfortunately ends.
No, I'm not cutting out the Lazaro brothers yet. I got Dale.
That one's so good. What does chat think?
Chat, James or Dale? We got one James, one Dale. One spam bot. That's all we're getting. You give me Dale here, I'll bend to you on the next one.
Fine.
Alifia versus John Wick.
It's gotta be Alifia here.
Alright.
Again, they got the sauce. I believe in the sauce.
Lucas versus Reclaire. Does Reclaire...
It's crazy that we have the #1 seed in the losers bracket in fantasy here.
Well, historically, they've never gone undefeated in a tournament, so...
I think that...
Other than, like, a 3v3.
I think that if we have Lucas versus Reclaire here, I think that Lucas ekes it out and crushes the dreams of the former world champion. We see a new world champion this year.
Okay. And Matt Uber versus SDL.
I like the narrative that we're pushing that nobody is prepared for Matt Uber.
And he beats the two brothers in a row.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy how our bracket worked out. That would have been awesome for a brothers mirror match, no lie.
So our top 8 is...
Why does Alefia already show up?
I don't know why it does that.
I think you accidentally just
dragged it a little too farther.
Yeah.
So our top 8 is Delinquent, Ghost Rider, Moxie's LeBounty, Dale, Alefia, Lucas, and Matt Uber. So let's if we go to the standings.
Well, it's gonna say like Alefia is 3 because you accidentally did the thing.
Oh, and I just erased it on us.
Ah, no.
Well, shucks.
Well, who do we say it was?
Create a new tournament. So, top 8 worlds pretend.
Great website.
Double elimination. And continue. Thought we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, so we had on the top of winner's side was who? On the very top.
Delinquent, I think?
Yep. It was Delinquent. Then under Delinquent was Moxie's?
No, they were in the lower bracket. It was Moxie's and the Bouncy, I think, right?
Right, so who was under Delinquent?
I think it was Ghost Rider.
Yep, that's who it was. Ghost Rider. Then it was
Moxie's and the Bouncy.
Then LeBounty.
Then we had Dale, Alefia, Lucas, and Matt Uber. All right. So Delinquent versus Matt Uber.
So Delinquent versus Matt Uber. I,
I would give it to Delinquent, honestly.
yeah, I'm fine with that.
Oh, it's not letting us do predict, so we're just reporting it like it's a real tournament. Awesome. Great. Great. Cool. Thank you.
LeBounty versus Dale.
I honestly think LeBounty will take that one.
Me as well. Ghost Rider versus Lucas. I'm actually ready to give it to Lucas.
I think Lucas would take this.
Oh yeah, someone said Moxie's would be number 1 and Ghost Rider would be number 2.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I don't think it would go by seed. I think it would go by their placement in the tournament.
Right.
Moxie's versus Olivia.
Moxie's. Down in losers
Matt
here.
Uber versus Dale. I think Dale's dreams get crushed here in a super sacky upset.
Sure.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
One guess as good as another, right?
I was trying to think, like, how does the upset happen? What?
I mean,
What card?
Matt Uber's on
Cyberstein?
Stein, yeah. He just blew him out. He used a Megamorph.
Get him. Do you think Ghost Rider is better than the Sauce?
I think Ghost Rider can go farther here.
I think Ghost Rider could go farther here.
Alright, Delinquent versus LeBounty. I give it to LeBounty.
I give it to Delinquent.
Chat, Delinquent versus LeBounty. What do you got? And while we're waiting for answers, Lucas or Moxie's?
I think in this one, I think it's Moxie's.
I agree. Chat said LeBounty. Alright, Lucas versus Matt Uber.
I think the Mad Uber dream ends here when they run into Lucas.
I think it continues. I'll ask chat, but I'm pretty sure chat's gonna say Lucas.
I'm pretty sure chat is on the Lucas train.
I'm not even gonna wait. I know they're gonna.
Good man.
Delinquent versus Ghost Rider. I say Delinquent.
I say Delinquent here too.
LeBounty versus Moxie's.
I think this one's pretty easy. I think I'm gonna go with Moxie's.
See, yeah, and LeBounty's just not a make it all the way to winners finals. Like even if finals.
Yeah, I think so too.
Lucas versus Delinquent. I say Delinquent.
I say Lucas actually. I know I've been a big fan of Delinquent. I just think Lucas is so good. I think he just gets there.
I still think Delinquent's on like the deck that's gonna counter Lucas's deck. Didn't we
Could
have
be on the sauce. Yeah.
didn't we have him defeat Lucas before?
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the narrative is that Lucas gets the revenge in the losers bracket. But
I just don't
I'm
see
happy
it.
to go with Delinquent.
All right. Then we
Or
have
Lucas. So wrong.
Delinquent versus LeBounty.
I mean, if Delinquent's on the sauce, then
No, I think LeBounty gets back up to grand
of
finals.
course you do.
I
What do you guys think?
mean, I'll give you the spoilers. I'm giving you LeBounty to the grand finals, and
I know.
and then Moxie's as the winner. I still think
I kinda
Moxie's
felt like
takes it.
I kind of felt like we were on the same wave about season.
We got
So-
3 LeBounties.
All right, LeBounty gets back into grand finals here, and I think like we said it before.
Okay, and I think LeBounty actually wins the first match.
Oh, we're doing one of these. I got
because it's Worlds,
yeah.
and then Moxie's
Wins
takes the
the
tournament.
grand finals. Yeah, that'd be hype.
And we
I
have
want to see it.
officially cursed Moxies.
the
The pretend
curse
world champion
seal
from Canada.
on.
So either we cursed. So if any of you guys want to fill out your own brackets, head on over to goformat.com, and then top 8 is what we're going the points by. We'll win 3 copies of Metamorphosis and 3 super rare Maneater bugs, courtesy of Gate Guardian 44. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. We'll see you guys on Saturday for day 1 at noon Eastern for the Goat Format World Championships.
Yeah, I am super excited. Head on over to goformat.com, like we said. Check out all the stuff that we got on there as well. And yeah, Saturday's gonna be a big day for everybody here. So let's get ready.